I'm back wearing a Cleveland Marathon t-shirt in solidarity with those in Boston yesterday who suffered so much and who exhibited so much strength under fire. I'm doing the Brahms Opus 1 C Major Sonata. I've decided to go to the last movement because yesterday I proved to myself that I needed it, and I've decided to work backwards. I'm going to start with the coda. So, little details that can bug in performance if you haven't resolved them. There's two four-note chords. It's three, a double thumb chord, G, and then compressing, finally two notes. Gives you the ultimate voice connection, then you've got the best of both worlds. In this case, you've got a trade-off. so it's so complicated. If I didn't have a choice, well, three note chords. Left hand. Third up here, both times. If I were to do a hand-turning chord, it would take too long for me. But if I'm relying too much on the stretch, then I run the risk that I don't have my hand properly placed. So that's again a quandary. I have to take enough time to get this set without reaching for these top notes. I like going in one direction, but it takes, like anything, good choreography, a reach. Even though I can do that, it's not in my best interest. This takes too long. But this is perfectly reasonable. So. F major state. Change my finger recently. Not enough. Start on 3. So. No? 2. Yes. 3. Yes. And then 3-1 toss. Passage. It's the same key 3 times, even though it's introduced 3 different times from 3 different keys. It starts in the C major version, and then in the G, and then in this one. It's really rather interesting that he uses that as cement. Anyway. Myself being very digitally oriented, I'm having to feel my fingers setting up, whereas I would much prefer to feel my arm just tosses my hand into position, which to me means I'm not making enough positional changing. Choreography is not convincing. So in other words, if I just sit here and play all the right keys with all the right fingers, I still run the risk that there's a lot of complexity in my hand. But if I move to reduce tension to a minimum, my arm will move more, but my hand will be more passive. So, and so will my fingers, therefore. Now it's better feeling. For example, coming out to 5-3. This is my thinking. I'm thinking ahead of even showing that it will work. If I think of that D being a start rather than a finish, so lo and behold. Then I have the time in my head to place to go on. So where if I think it's a big, fast, scary leap, then I'm in trouble. It's always nice when your theory works in practice. And there. This is the unexpected D. The keyboard from my body to get this thing to work well. Here. I have to have my eyes in the right place at the right time, which means early. Yeah, so bare octave. All these are with thirds. Alas, this one too. I need to play each of these two note groups. Starting on fifth, going to four. I would normally go to four. Boy, that makes it easy. Go here, then go here. Smashing myself to bits. So if I miss, it hurts. The edge of the key is no fun to meddle with. Okay, dynamic level, forte, fortissimo, this is all forte marcato, but then this is really important, it's leggero and it's diminuendo. So it's forte, piano, in the opening. It's rather similar. Yep, he writes these as leggero. Remark on that and mark it 5-4 for the landing. Now, I have plenty of time and I'm there. So, 2 rather than 5-2-1. comfort after that. Approach it. So that's just a forte piano, it's not a forte. So any of those in this piece. just in terms of sheer physical release, comparing today's rendition of this, admittedly I'm working more intensely today than yesterday, but yesterday right away when I started running through this movement there was a sense of foreignness, of stiffness, of a lack of embrace of what it demanded of me. And today it feels dramatically different, so go figure. I think, well, it's time to go to the second theme. canon, not at the octave. That diminished third is one of the most characteristic things. It would help a lot to have a good fingering. 1, 3, 2, 1. It's almost impossible to play without a good fingering. And going to G doesn't help either. E. That's the second one. That's why I keep wanting to do that. I think what it is it's the entry is at the whole measure, and I keep thinking at the half measure. In essence, my left hand has to remember a lot more of what the right hand just played. early on, like if I'm actually running through this and have just gotten to place those fifth fingers carefully. Part of it will be the diagonal I use with my arm, so that I feel connected to those keys. Well, that, as you can to see the key I'm going for, just the mechanics of it, or that I miss. And part of it is short-circuiting the gesture this way and cutting across. For me, that's a bad mistake. And that's the idea. So let me review that G major. it's not at all right. I got stuck in with a gallop. It's this. The third on the bottom. The fifth. The third. Okay, back we go. As I said, when you're coming at it cold, your process has to be clear. Approach the diagonal from the body. The only reason I call it diagonal is if your body is here and you're going that way, that's a diagonal. Half of it, a lot of it is getting your arm aligned to the key so you're not coming at it over the top of the key. Especially true of the octave. When I do this twice, the first time I'll make the right hand the accompaniment. And then it'll lead. The left continues. So, the left to the end. The right. The left to the end. The left finishes. I keep wanting to repeat because the second statement, the first time, so let's go back to single note on the bottom. Yes. I'm in another section. I've got to get to C. So that's what's different about this. Here's the chain. That's why. Okay. Now it's a chain. much of which I already have reviewed because of this horn fifth section, and because much of it comes back later. But this is in C major. Okay, I need a fresh approach. I think it's very smart of Brahms to write these rolls, because you're coming at them laterally. There's too much white note. That's not. Four notes here, five notes here. Is that really the same? Not relevant. Yeah. Five notes, four notes, three notes. Yes. Good. So this is the one. I did write out a fingering. I was doubtful. A third finger on the end. Okay, I'll try it. Yeah, the third kind of makes me well behaved down at the bottom. those fingers. There's 4-2 on black and on white note. Then 3-1 on the end. And 4-2 again on white, going to black. Best intentions, everything's going well, but you miss that one thing, and it's just a little bit disappointing. Oh, my poor fingernail is not doing well. Okay, so it's stuck together certainly much better than yesterday. There are obviously the spots where I am freshly learned, or where I have a sense of edginess. Some of them come back to haunt me, and those are the ones I'm going to have to smooth over. But a good step.